Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, and I'm back to bring you another retro review from the Casagrandes mini-arc from Season 4 of The Loud House. So let's get right into it. Today's episode is Face the Music. In this episode, Ronnie Anne needs to overcome her fear of stage fright when she learns that she and the rest of her family are to perform for Hector's birthday. With a premise like this, you already know what direction the story is going to take, and you pretty much know how everything is going to turn out by the end. I'm not saying it's a bad episode because having stage fright is very relatable, speaking from personal experience. But the plot in and of itself is very generic and doesn't really stand out too well compared to some of the other Casagrande mini-arc episodes that came before it. Ronnie Anne is scared of performing in front of a crowd after she suffered a humiliating fall during her first grade play. So she turns to Sid, who says she can help her friend conquer her fear. First, she has Ronnie Anne try singing to random people on the subway, and that plan backfires miserably. Then she has her friend try again on one of the city streets, and that too backfires miserably. Although she did make some money when everyone thought she was being a street performer. After hearing how Hector doesn't want a physical gift, despite Ronnie Anne thinking it would be a suitable substitute for getting out of performing, she decides to use the conga drum she found and join Bobby and Sergio's upcoming performance as a way of avoiding the pressure of performing alone. Sergio is unable to perform the song because he lost his voice eating some spicy shrimp, and so it's just going to be Bobby and Ronnie Anne. Unfortunately, since Ronnie Anne assumed she wasn't going to have to sing whatsoever, and coupled with the fact Hector invited more people to the apartment, she becomes overwhelmed with anxiety and runs out of the living room, assuming she ruined the party. That's when Hector talks to his granddaughter and reveals how he too suffered a humiliating fall during his first grade play and was afraid of performing in front of others for a long time afterwards. So apparently tripping and falling during the first grade play runs in the family. Also, random side note. I know this first aired in 2019, but ever since 2020, whenever I watch this episode, I always think about Anne's flashback from that one episode of Amphibia. You know, the one where she was dressed as a tooth and fell down and caused a huge fire during her school play. Honestly, I thought of this Casagrandes episode the first time I watched that clip from Amphibia when it first aired. I know it's just a mere coincidence given how both main characters from both shows don't like performing in front of others due to very unfortunate past events, some more traumatic than others according to 4 out of 5 dentists. But can you imagine a scenario where both Ronnie Anne and Hector suffered a similar situation like Anne Boonchoi? That would carry a lot more weight for their characters, and it would make their unwillingness to be public performers more justified. Just a thought. Anyway, Hector reassures his granddaughter that it will take some time before she becomes comfortable with performing in front of others, so there's no need to rush it. A very predictable piece of life advice, but it was still wholesome nonetheless. In the end, Hector decides to join Bobby for the song, and eventually everyone joins in. Gotta love how both family and non-family members automatically know the rhythm and lyrics, suggesting they must have heard this song before, which is very strange for the Changs considering they just moved to Great Lake City only a few episodes ago. But regardless, the song, Greatest of All Time, was the best thing to come out of this episode. It was both a great ensemble performance by most of the main and recurring characters, and its gentle rhythm and sweet lyrics praising Hector as a good husband, father, and grandfather really helped in reinforcing the man's earlier statement about how the best gift you can get is the kind you can't hold in your hand. Even if the idea of saying the best gifts come from the heart is very sappy and cliche, it worked pretty well in capping off Ronnie Anne's conflict. Because everyone was joining in on the song, and since there was no more audience, she had the confidence to join everyone for their collective performance, making strides in overcoming her stage fright one step at a time. Overall, Face the Music may have a very basic story with a very simple and relatable conflict and resolution, but it's still an okay episode with very little to complain about. The vast majority of characters were presented very well, this being especially true with Ronnie Anne and Hector. I also can't forget some of the most interesting highlights from the secondary characters. From kicking back with a pair of sunglasses to using a bunion scraper at the most inappropriate of moments, the little scenes with Sid were very funny. The performances the family were planning for Hector's party were also very noteworthy, some taking their passions a little too far. Seriously, Maria just straight up smashed her harp the way a rock star smashes their guitar. I'm all about committing to a performance, but damn girl, calm down, it's just a birthday party. And speaking of the birthday party, I almost forgot to mention the family performs for Hector every year as a way of thanking him for the many performances Hector does for them. It makes you wonder if they celebrate Rosa's birthday by cooking and cleaning as a way of thanking her for all the things she does for them. It certainly wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, the song at the end was great. Hector helped Ronnie Anne slowly overcome her fear of performing in public. And I certainly can't forget the quick background cameo of Flip when Sid mentions how Ronnie Anne will never see any of the people on the subway ever again. Gotta love the subtle irony. With that said, I give Face the Music a 7.5 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Face the Music. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.